I want you to stop, take all of your problems, all of the things that you are trying to solve, all of the tabs that are in the computer system of your mind, and turn them off. Silence your mind for at least 60 seconds, because what I'm about to show you is a very fundamental truth, which is reality, and how it relates to why your business has been stuck for a very, very long time. What I'm going to show you here is what has worked for me. Actually, it is the only thing that has worked for me that has gotten me to the higher levels in business and bringing on clients that I wouldn't have dreamed paying me, and living a lifestyle that I wouldn't have dreamed of having. And it's all because I learned something that could only be experienced through spiritual knowingness. I'm going to say something a little off the wall, but bear with me. This is the game that you don't know you're playing. And we're going to do a thought experiment here. You're living like an NPC in a game you don't know you're playing. To get out of the game, you first have to know you're in one. Everything is a game. Now, you understand that, you will understand business, because business is the game that you've chose to play. So, what I mean is this a game. Again, this is a thought experiment. This is a philosophy. You don't have to agree with it, but just bear with me for a second. Now, if your thoughts and your mind is coming back in about the things that you have to solve in your business and the reactions are coming in, I'm telling you, that is the game trying to snag your attention away from this video, and it's causing you to not create the life that you want. So stick through this video, because as you go through this, you're going to get some light bulb moments that I assure you will lead to dividends in your business. So everything is a game. Now, if we look at life as a game, think back to the last time you played a video game, whether it was a long, long time ago and maybe you're a boomer and you were playing Atari, or you were playing Nintendo, or you were playing even PlayStation 5. You had an opponent, you had challenges, you had mysteries, you had things that you had to solve, and you had to level up your character and gain skill sets, much like right now, you playing your business. Now, the problem is, if you don't know you're in the game, then you wouldn't get out of it. Imagine there's an NPC, and the NPC just believes that this is life. He's supposed to do what he's supposed to do. And this NPC is trapped, but he's trapped without his own knowingness. He doesn't know. He's just living life. Now, this NPC, you come along and you say, "Hey, man, did you know you're in a game?" He's going to say, "What? What are you talking about?" Much like you might be thinking right now. And you walk him around the game and you show him the little pixelated, fabric of the reality that he's in. You show him that, you go and talk to somebody who's an NPC and they're not all there. And, you show him the levels and how you can get out in the different maps. And he starts to wake up. His awareness comes up. He says, "Wow, I didn't realize that this is the reality I was living in." And because he knows now, his next option is he can either go back to unawareness or unconsciousness, or he can go into the light. He can go into the waking up, ascension of his mind. Now, if he is a strong spirit, he will decide to wake up. He will decide to take the path less followed. Okay? Now, let's take a look at your business. You are the NPC that is in a controlled environment, a game of your own making, of that you forgot you made. Okay? Bear with me again. Imagine you made a game, you forgot that you made the game, and then you went unconscious and then just started playing the game and you forgot you made it. So that's the same as like you're the guy who made his own business getting all frustrated and upset at the thing that he caused. Pretty interesting. Now, you're in this game, so the first step to taking back control and winning the game, because this is why we're here. We're here to win it. We're here to get to the higher levels. The first step of taking back control is first know you're in the game. That's the first thing you need to understand. Okay? Did we have this established? Excellent. Next. Every game has 4 parts. So now we need to understand what the game is. So freedoms. The first thing that it has is as freedoms. It has you have freedom of choice. You can make whatever chess move you want to make. You have the choice of allies. You have the choice of enemies. You have a level of freedom within the game. And it might not feel like that right now, but I'll assure you it will feel like that later. Next is obstacles. So this is just, your restricted ad accounts, your clients who don't pay you, your month of no income, just the tough sales objections that you get, anything that is going against you. Think about it as a counter force. Then your next thing here is a game has to have goals. So you have to know where you're trying to go. You have to know what your next goal is. And now you can have lots of little goals that add up to one big goal, or you could have one big goal, but at the end of the day, there is somewhere you're trying to go. Now, lastly, it has some sort of scorecard. It has statistics, your numbers, your tracking, and in business, it's money. All right. So if you're trying to win in business, your only number that really matters is time and money. Time and money. That's really all you're trying to get is more time and more money. Why most people lose is most entrepreneurs are trying to cheat the game. Okay. Now, what this looks like is you should learn marketing, and you go and hire a marketer who you don't know if he knows marketing because you don't know marketing. And this marketer comes in and you just say, hey, I want to abdicate the responsibility of this new level that I must achieve. That's kind of like you're on level 2 of Call of Duty and you go and find some nerd who's really good at that level and you just have him do it. Okay, well, it might sound smart, but you're missing out on the point here. The point is if you cheat level 2, you might even cheat level 3, you might cheat level 4, but there was a series of skill sets that you would have unlocked if you would have gone through those levels honestly. And if you would have gone through those levels honestly, at level 5, you would have had 4 new skill sets that would have allowed you to beat level 5. And now that you don't have those new skill sets, you finally made it to level 5, and some new boss or some new challenge comes along that you are not well equipped for. Now let's look at it like this. Say you're a 10K a month agency owner. If I took you and said, or let's say this, I said, hey, Mr. 10K a month agency owner, would you like to trade places with Elon Musk? Most people would raise their hands and say, yes, yes, yes. I want to be a billionaire. I want to travel. I want a big yacht. I want to do billionaire stuff. All right, nothing wrong with that. Cool. Well, now the next question is, are you equipped? Do you have the skills? Do you have the tenacity? Do you have the emotional resilience that comes with running a massive corporation like that he has built over decades? No, you don't. And if I took you and plopped you into his seat right now, you would probably have a mental breakdown. It's too fast, too soon. So what happens is when you cheat the game, and you see it all the time. You see all kinds of things online. Let's just look at the FTC. Look at the scandals. Look at what people try to do online or even offline, and it doesn't get them anywhere. So what happens is they skip from level 1 to level 100, and they can't handle it, and they absolutely collapse. They might even end up in jail. And so the game cheats them. Okay, so think about it this way. A game has levels. And, you could look at those levels as a target or a goal. And you have level 1, level 2. Each level that you go up gives you a new skill set or a new perk or something new. Let's look at it business. Maybe you learn in the beginning, you learn DMing, and you know how to get a client with DMs. You can go and send a DM on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and all of a sudden, client comes in. Cool, I can do that again. And you do it again and again. You're like, wow, I can do this. Now, level 2 is you got to go hire somebody to do the DMs for you. And you've never hired before. So you go and learn. You might buy a course on how to hire. You might find a friend and learn how to manage them. You might get a course on how to manage people. Now you learn how to lead and manage people. So now you have 2 skills, DMing and management, and now even a third skill is training. Then you move up and you can see how this works. And you might learn Facebook ads. And then the fourth skill, you might learn content. And then you might learn the speaking. And it just continues and continues and continues. And that's why somebody who has all of those skills, they could damn near instantly, grow a business from the ground up without it taking a lot of time. It's just because they know exactly what to do and when to do it. And they have the skills to do it. It's that simple. But you're trying to cheat the game. So this game, the business game, requires lots and lots and lots of skills. It requires you to up-level your character, your avatar. So they all want freedom. So this is why most people lose. They all want freedom, and they all want no barriers. Because look, when a barrier hits, if I'm being honest, I don't want the barrier. I don't want somebody to stop me. But I know if I didn't have those barriers, I would be bored out of my mind. Then there are also people that don't want any goals, right? Or they're all goals. They're pie in the sky. They're delusions of grandeur, but they never do anything. That's all goals and no freedom because they have no choice. They won't do it. They won't start. So you have to have a balance of barriers, goals, and freedoms. You don't want no barriers because you will be bored. You don't want no goals because you won't go anywhere. Kind of like a lot of these AI bros, they're just all tinkering with AI, but they're not using it for anything. And you don't want no freedom with all barriers because then you will be trapped. So the game follows a nice, healthy balance and a nice component parts. And when you have all this, the equation is a healthy balance of barriers, goals, and freedom equals fun. And imagine if you had a lot of fun in your business all the time. You'd play it more. Now, if you start losing the game, you don't want to play it as much. If it's too challenging, you won't play it as much. If it is just enough challenge, you'll play it a lot. If it's too easy, you also won't play it. So the reason you might have such a hard time right now is you either have too many barriers, you have too many goals, you have too many freedoms, or you don't have enough of those. Next is they look outside themselves for someone to save them, an agency, a closer, a guru. At the end of the day, you are the player in the game. You have to look at yourself as player one. You're the one. You must play the game if you want. You can't just skip. You can't have a lottery ticket approach. You must play the game. If this is a game, if this philosophy holds true, and if you agree with this philosophy, you're the one that has to have the skills. So there's a lot of... Now, here's the thing. You can hire people based on... I'm not saying you have to know every single thing, but you must be competent in this game, which is why I believe in courses. I believe in programs and coaches. I take them all the time. Those who say, oh, it's all scams and coaches are terrible and I'm not into that anymore or whatever, it's kind of ridiculous. At the end of the day, you're essentially like Neo in the Matrix when they install a new skill into his skill file, and now he wakes up and he goes, I know karate. Well, yeah, That's kind of what we're doing. So if somebody knows YouTube better than me, for example, and if I could take what's in their mind and just kind of plug a cord in and then put it into my mind, now I'll know YouTube. So again, there's no skipping levels. You are the character. You have to up level. Lastly, two minds. Now, this is the spiritual board, okay? This is the spiritual game board that we're on. You have the goals, you have the problems, you have the freedoms. We've already established that. You're the player. Now we start to move into upgrade the player. I believe spirituality is a level of kind of ascending that awareness to see the whole game, and then taking what you have to seeing yourself as you relate to the game, and removing the hindrances that you have towards your goals. So, for example, if you're too afraid to talk on stage, and that's a way for you to hit your goals, now you must find out why you're afraid to talk on stage and go talk on stage and slowly get yourself accustomed to that. So the being has hindrances, and you have to start to improve who you are, change those things. Again, level up in skill sets, but you have to understand how this game all actually operates. So there's a concept here. You have two minds. You have a lower mind, which is low-level urges. Think low-level anger, frustration, the thing that makes you procrastinate, the thing that ruins your relationships, the things that makes you impulsive, your lower urges like food and sex and masturbation and corn and all of these lower level desires. Then you have your higher mind. This is clarity, honor, responsibility, clear thinking, you. It's the real you. Now, the game is a game of mastering yourself. Because if you can master yourself, you can master the universe around you. You have become so thoroughly overwhelmed with the universe that is around you, it has slowly taken over you. It's impacting you. It's too much barriers. And then not only that, but you are against yourself a lot of the times. And so the mastery of self, it's a very spiritual principle here, but if you can do it, you can get ahead very quickly in this game. So you have two minds. Now we've understood that. We have our higher and our lower. You slide between them all the time. It might be on a weekly basis, it might be on a monthly basis, it might be daily, but you're going up and down. You're going lower level, higher level, lower level, higher level. And the idea here is, and this is what has helped me finally get my act together and get things in line and get order in my life, is my ability to see the lower mind and know when I'm in it, and I can see when my viewpoint is going into the lower mind or I'm being the lower mind and not agreeing with it. Because when that lower mind comes in, it's very persuasive. It's very tricky. The problem is, when you make decisions, you're making them out of your lower mind. And any decision you make in that lower mind will continually be the wrong decision. And then it'll make it worse. Things will get worse and worse and worse. Now, the more often you are in your higher mind, the more often you will make the right, most calculated, most logical and reasonable decisions. So whenever I'm in the lower state, I don't make big decisions. I take a walk, I come back clearer, and then I start to look at what do I need to do. And if, let's say, I'm just really stuck and bogged down in that lower mind, again, what's a game need? It needs a scorecard. I'll look at the statistics. I'll look at what's the working formulas. And I don't need to make the perfect decision because I'll just do whatever worked in the past. So you just do what you know to do, and it doesn't matter if that lower mind comes in. So here's the shift. I used to change my business model every 2 months. Like, I was pure reactivity. I was like the epitome of the most ADHD crazy entrepreneur. And look, here, anybody here who says like ADHD is like a superpower, I don't think it is. I think being clear, being concise, like being able to like control yourself is a very noble thing. And I also don't think ADHD is really a thing. I think it is something that the industry is out there peddling. And I really think like here, if anyone has ADHD, it's me. Okay. I just don't agree with it. So look, I have all the urges. I have all the lower mind crap. It's just being able to stop it, stop yourself, decide, am I in control or is my mind in control? So I'm in control. So what happened was with me, and this was only like a year ago, I was constantly changing. I was constantly uh, moving my business model around and trying and thinking, okay, maybe I'll try a low ticket membership, then high ticket, then I'll do, some sort of uh, low ticket something or another, or an agency, or just something. And I never really looked at the statistics, like what was working the best. Well, what I did was I was operating off of my emotions, and that's what caused the issues. I never stayed in one lane long enough to get real data. Now, the difference is what I do now as a business owner in this game. I'm going to relate it back to this game principle. If you are good at Call of Duty, you would go back to when you were doing your best, look at your scorecard, look at how you played the game, and then do that again. And so if you're running a business, the most important thing is your scorecard or your data dashboard. And so you need a good data dashboard. So what I do now is I just look, is the data doing this or is it doing this? And if it's doing this, we need to make a change. If it's doing this, don't change. It's very, very simple. So that changed everything. Now, the next thing here is the skills stack, okay? You win by stacking skills, okay? We already spoke about this earlier. Okay, we have our ads, our sales, management, leadership. You have communication skills. There are a lot of skills that you're going to need. If you are pre 50,000 a month, if you're pre 20,000 a month, all of those levels take an enormous amount of skills. Most of the skills, especially in an online business, if that's the game you're playing, requires a high degree of communication. So we are in a communication environment. The clearer and better you can communicate, the more people will listen to you, and the more people listen to you, the more people buy from you, and that's how you win this game. So if you are bad at communicating, or you slur your words, or you are, you sound shady, or you are hard to listen to, you can work on it. There are lots of speaking courses, and I have a communication course if anybody wants to connect with me on that. But that's such a fundamental skill that if you don't have it, that is the reason. That is the reason why you're stuck. 100%. You just can't see it. So there's ads, then sales, then management, then leadership, then communication. Every skill you download levels you up. Again, just like Neo learning karate. Each level gets harder. Harder games are a good thing. So here's the belief that drives me nuts. I'm going to grow a business and then I'm going to just autopilot. It's all going to be autopilot. Then the business just runs me. And I go and I hang out in Tahiti and I drink coconuts. Even if you were able to make that happen, you would get absolutely bored out of your mind. And when you aren't doing anything or you're not moving towards a purpose, your only other option is to die. And so you're dying. So, okay, day 1, drink out of the coconut. Day 2, drink a margarita. Day 3, drink another margarita. Okay, cool. Let's do 20 years later. You do the same thing every day forever? No. It wouldn't work out because you're not helping the universe around you anymore. You gave up. You sold your company or whatever you did and you're out. Cool, good for you. So it doesn't really ever end. You just get better, and it becomes easier to manage, and you just get better at coping. Now, if you succumb to the game and you decide that this level's going to win and you just want to stay stuck in a level for the next 30 years, which is what a lot of people do in their jobs, they just decide that it's too hard and they don't want to level up. Well, they will slowly get worse and worse. And they've decided that there is no game. That's essentially what they did. So if you're smart, which I know if you're watching this video and you've made it this far, you probably are, you know that there is a constant level up. Constantly. Boredom is the most agonizing thing a being can feel. You will slowly die of boredom. So the game has to keep getting harder. That's not the problem. That's the point. So, if you've ever felt like, wow, I finally beat level 2. Yes, baby. And then some big challenge comes in and you go, no, I can never win. You're not looking at it properly. You need to change your perspective on it. Problem came in. Good. Level up. It's your chance. All right. So if you run around this life being selfish, trying to get all freedom, trying to cheat the game, being lopsided in this game structure, freedoms, barriers, and goals, you'll only punish yourself and you're never going to get rewarded. So what a lot of business owners are doing is they're literally running around looking for some business that's going to run itself, that takes no skills, it takes no learning, it's easy and it's free. And that is what's going to make their life better. And it's zero sum, it's totally all for them, and it's for nobody else. It doesn't help anybody around them. Well, that's the issue. You're going to punish yourself. And then you're going to bring yourself back to level 1, and you're going to stay in the same loop unless you decide to level up. This isn't spirituality of my choice. This is the reality of reality. This isn't my choice. This isn't what I didn't say, hey, you know what? This is reality. This is my opinion of reality. You could look at it that way, or you can look at the evidence, like literally, if you're sitting in your room, look around you. Even if you want to leave your room and go to the kitchen, there's a barrier. It's called a door. Okay? And there's another door to open the fridge, and the goal is the food. And the freedom is the choice that you can walk through space, through time and space, to get to this physical box with food in it. That's a very, very small game, but it is nonetheless a game. And I want you to look around. Is there anything that really isn't a game? You go to work, you got traffic. You want to go make a sale, you got objections. And this is the game that we're playing. So the game that we play is a constant leveling up. So this isn't, you can say, oh, you know what, I don't agree with that, but I would just rather encourage you just to look for yourself. You're in a game, you'll never win until you level up. That's the moral of the story. All right, so now here's what I'm going to be doing is every single Friday I'm going to be putting out a video for you to watch. It's going to be on topics of business, spirituality. I'm going to be doing podcasts. I'm going to be doing the structure of the mind, how to communicate, tips and tricks. And I'm really going to be expanding this channel. And I'm telling you this because, 1, I want to hold myself accountable to it. And 2, I need a new game. And so it would be very helpful to me if you like and subscribe. But I also believe that if you watch these videos continuously, you will learn things that you are not going to get anywhere else. And I can assure you of that. All right. I will see you on the next one. Peace out.